Hello there, it's me, Sari, here again, and today I'm back, actually, with the continuing bit of this card. Yesterday I made a video and I wasn't really sure of what to do with it, but with a comment of one of you followers, which I'm really thankful for, as I interpreted it, this might be a way of actually doing it. Putting in the embossed piece of paper in the background, so it's still there, but there's something white to break things off with. But what I thought I'd show you today is, let's see, this flap. I've got a double flap here actually. Just going to put it there. So in this case it's going to give it an easel function really. So it's easy to just pull it out and then it can stand on its own, on a mantelpiece perhaps or something else. I thought that in this video I will show you how I made this decoration with the Swedish saying God Jul, which means Merry Christmas. Because it's this size from the get-go, so I have stamped it on shrink plastic. In this case I stamped it on the shiny side, and in this case I actually stamped it on the rugged side. I die cut it with a circle die. I'm thinking it might be either rocks stamps or gummiapan. I chose one of these sizes and I just randomly chose the size, and before I started shrinking things down I actually punched a hole with a crocodile. And the thing is that everything shrinks, so you need to choose the bigger hole, and I think this is the 3/16th of an inch or something. So choose the bigger hole if you want to be able to pull some thread through or something similar to that. So I'll be shrinking this bit down so I can make something similar to this, so we can actually compare how they look if you are going to stamp on either side. And then I thought I'd show you how I made this bit here, just to see how easy it is doing it with the Gemini A4. So that's where I'm at right now. So keep your fingers crossed and hope for the successful outcome this time. And by the by, the God Jul stamp comes from dixiecraft.com, and it's a really nice stamp. I like the fact that it has got some texture to the lettering. I like it a lot. The fox itself, I love this fox. I really love it. It comes from Studio Light, and it's the designer Art by Marlene. You can see it there. It's a bit hidden by the plastic there, but it's Art by Marlene, and I do like this fox stamp. I like it a lot. And then the snowflake stamps come from Nelly's Nellen, and they come in a handy set like this. And these are the ones I actually stamped the background with some blue distress ink. And I finished the paper off with some diamond stickles, which I just put here and there to give that beautiful sparkle in the background of that fox. For that fox, I should say, perhaps. So let's see if I can go somewhere with this. So I have the shrink plastic bit here, and I do have an acrylic block just because I want to have it. I have a pair of scissors just in case the plastic's going to warp and I need something to actually open it up. And since I'm heating it up, it's going to be hot, so I don't want to do it with my fingers. I really do need a tool of sorts, and I do like a pair of scissors. Tweezers aren't that good for me because I want to be able to just open it up like that. So I'm going to, if something happens, I'll be putting it inside the plastic like so and force it out like this with this tool. So let's see. I'm going to start this one up, and it might take a couple of seconds before something happens, and I'm not sure if we'll be able to see everything. Let's see if I can zoom in a little. So now things are starting to happen, as you can see. And this is also a good reason to have a tool of sorts, just because it sort of starts to fly away. And I've actually discovered that this particular shrink plastic is a really good one because it doesn't get warped. It actually keeps the circular shape rather well. So it actually just crumbles like this, and then it flattens out. And when it's flattened out, it's ready. And just when I said that it keeps the circular shape, I might have actually bitten my tongue off, because perhaps it isn't that much looking like a circle, but it's a circular-ish shape. So here's the difference. If you are going to do some stamping on either the shiny side or the rugged side. So this is actually the difference in these. You might like this one better. Of course, if you would like to have some smooth and shininess to this, you could put some glossy accents or something on top. And the thing is that having stamped on the rugged side, you can actually see it in the background, but you can't do it there. It's a bit weird, isn't it? Same ink, stays on ink. I find that really a bit weird, I must say. But, and let's see. My thought is that I do like the sparkly or the shiny side. So I'll be putting this one there. Perhaps having it there somehow. I might not use this piece of string there, I'm not sure. But I sort of like it having there. And when it comes to placing this, I'm thinking that it's nice to have something white in the background so I can actually see the text properly. So that's where I'm at right now. If I were to put this one there, it's going to be lighter. So I would definitely need to put it somewhere where I have a nice background to it. It could actually work there, couldn't it? Well, so that's where I'm at right now with that bit. And having done thus far, I think I'm ready to actually move on using a die from Marianne Design. It's a Dutch company. And let's see if I can clear things up a bit. Like so, and I'll be putting that one away, keeping that and that. Pull that beast back here, and you know, I remembered. I'm going to zoom out a little. So what I'll be needing now, of course, when you are working on such a, for goodness sake, where are you? When you are working on such a small bit, it might feel a bit unnecessary having these big plates and this big mama of an electric cutting machine. But since that's what I've got, I'll have to do with it. So where did I put that leaflet? I have the user guide or the user manual here. And in this case, I'll be using a very intricate die. So I have to have a clear cutting plate at the bottom and a plastic shim, which is there, and the magnetic shim. And you know what? Since I don't like the magnetic shim to get dents and everything, so I'm just going to put it in the back. And as the metal plate, I'll be putting it underneath as well, because I don't want those to get warped. And the embossing mat is going to lie by itself for a little. So in order, instead of following the order, I'm still keeping the same plates. I'm putting this plastic shim at the top for now, because I know that that one is going to take a beating a bit better than anything else. So I do have this beautiful border die from Marianne Design. Let's see if you can see it. And I'll be putting it back down with the cutting bit upwards, because I'll be putting on a cutting plate on top of this in a minute or two. And then I have a piece of paper, carton or cardstock, something that similar. And then I have a cutting plate like this. And now I have made my sandwich, as they say. And I'll be turning that one on, and I'm ready to insert this one into the machine. And I need to move this one down in a minute or two because I haven't got that much space there. So let's see the result. I'm going to peel off the cutting paper, and that's a shame actually that it loosens like this, but you can see how nicely it cuts, and it almost doesn't need any further embossing. I'm not sure if you can see it properly, but there is a bit of texture there, isn't there? So it's a nice first result like it is. Let's see if I can get rid of these in a hurry. Yeah, it worked. And I'm going to need some tape, because I do want to keep it in place while I am dry embossing this. And since I know that this tape is a bit tacky, I'm actually going to get away a little bit of the tackiness by putting it on my nightgown, if you want to, if you will. So let's see if I can fit it in. I can sort of feel the grooves and make it get into the right place, and I'll be putting the tape on across like so. So it's going to have something sticking to the die and something sticking to the paper. And now I have to move ahead, because now I have to do some embossing with dies. I'm not using Crafter's Companion dies, but I think that the sandwich layout is going to be the same. So in this case I'll be needing the clear cutting plate, the plastic shim, the die itself with the blade side up, and that's why I need the tape, you see, and material to emboss, and and then the embossing mat. So I need to take away the magnetic shim and the metal shim, don't I? Let's see if it's correct. I have the cutting plate, the plastic shim, the die, the material, and the rubber embossing mat, and the clear cutting. So I have actually scaled off, or taken away, peeled off quite a few layers there. And just to be on the safe side, I think I'll actually put in a little bit more tape. And this is just some, I'm not sure what kind of tape this is really. And it's always difficult to find the end now, isn't it? And you know, I just used it, didn't I? So I think I had better just give it a go, hope for the best really. It seems like it's in place, but the tape now is a little bit too weak. Is it proper in the right place? I think it is. I still think that I might fail here. Well, I'm going to give it a go. I'll be putting on this rubber embossing mat, and then I'll finish things off with this cutting plate. And now it's time to put it in there again. And I'll be shifting it downwards like this. So let's see how it looks. You can see the back side of it, so you can definitely see the benefit of actually doing some embossing. I just hope that I haven't shifted too much with this. So the one thing you could think about, of course, is putting the tape there in the first time you're going to put it, you're going to do the die cutting. It has shifted, but you know what? I'm just going to give you the result anyway. So this is mostly my fault, of course. You can see the depth of the embossing. You can see the difference there. And as you can see, this one doesn't cut it off at the bottom, so you can actually have it on the sides or at the top of your card and such. And if I didn't fail this miserably, I would have been happy to continue colouring that one in. I'll be doing that anyway, but I'm not happy about it, as you can see or hear. So I'm just going to take a piece of paper, and I'm going to turn this one off, and I'll be moving it to this side so I have a little bit more wiggle room here. So now I have a white piece of paper, which isn't the best, of course, and you know this one isn't perfect, but you can still see the depth of the texture, can't you? It's a beautiful result. And what I usually do is that I have something slippery, something slick as a surface, because if I have paper to paper, it's going to be a little more tough. But I think I'll just try it. So if I have a glass mat, or let's say a non-stick surface, it's going to be easier for me to just colour this one in. So I'm going to apply the ink like so. Let's see if I can get it right. And with a light hand, mind you, not a heavy hand this time. I'm just going to add it on like this. And you know, the difference to this from the last time is that I actually kept the die in while I was colouring it. But this is a nice change, so you can actually have this one to compare it with. If you would like a little bit more blue at the top. So of course I didn't go all the way as I thought, but in this case you can see a difference now, can't you? Let's see if I can find a black background. Perhaps it's easier to see then. So here I have the sort of tough love blue inking, and here's a softer bit, and in order to achieve this softer bit you definitely need to leave the dye in and then add in the ink, and you could actually use a brush to do that so it won't get that heavy-handed. But a dye like this is really magnificent, so just learn from my mistake this time and put the tape there beforehand. And you know what, I really wish that Gemini and Crafter's Companion would make a base plate that is prepared for thin dyes with the magnetic plate in it. So I could put on a cutting plate on top of sorts, so I can actually keep the dye on top of the paper instead of having the dye in its place and the paper on top. Because that's not how I want to work. I want to work this way so I can have more control of what I'm doing. And that's the benefit of having a magnetic mat. So if you want to do crafts like that, then I suppose I just have to keep using my Big Shot because I have that magnetic plate to that. So I just wish that they could do something similar to that, because one is still using the magnetic plate, so just sort of glue them there with a plastic topper. I'm not sure if that's possible, but that's on my wish list anyway. So going back to basics, I have the shrink plastic bit here. This could be something I could see myself sending to somebody, actually. So, I'm sorry for the bewilderment, and I'm sorry about the mess, which is always going to happen in my studio, that's for sure. I hope you have a crafty weekend. Bye-bye.